Hello and welcome to another episode of the Landscaper Growth Show. My name is Mark. I'm your host. Today I'm speaking with Dan Albrecht at Village Lawn Service in South St. Paul. Dan, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I'd love to start just by hearing what services you provide for your customers there in South St. Paul.
So we're a full service lawn service landscape company. Do everything from weekly mowings to fertilizing to if you need a bush, we'll plant a bush. If you need a whole backyard oasis, we can do that. Lighting, top dressing, and then the S word, the snow. We do snow removal and liquid brine for our salt for ice prevention.
Got it. When you say the S word, makes me think it's maybe a little bit of a four-letter word in the industry. What's the take on snow removal, and how is that kind of more involved? And
so the problem with snow is you can't tell me when, how much, or how much we're going to get. Are we going to get, 2 feet? Are we going to get a foot? Are we going to get 15 events? Are we going to get 5 events? Is it going to be back to back to back, or is it like a 1 month lull? You can't plan anything. You can't go anywhere. And then as soon as it's done, everybody's like, why isn't it done? And it is the worst thing ever. I know guys that love it. I mean, snow business, you make a lot of money. When it's snowing, it's like the golden goose. But when it's not snowing, you're just like, oh, shoot, can I pay this month's bills? Or, hey, this. And then, of course, when anything breaks down, it breaks down when it snows. Like 4-wheel drive. How often in the summer do you have 4-wheel drive? Hardly ever. And then in the snow, it's like, oh, guess what? Place one. I don't have 4-wheel drive, so I can't plow anymore.
Gotcha. And for that, I've heard, some companies have got all of their own equipment for snow removal, some kind of rent equipment, which I've heard is really a pain to kind of deal with that, big contracts and whatever to rent your equipment. How do you guys handle that?
So we own all of our own equipment. We own our brine sprayer, our brine maker, all the plows, the skid, the trucks. We've got a vent track sidewalk machine that is absolutely amazing. But I mean, we're not big enough where we need to rent stuff to have it at different properties. I kind of want to get a tractor with a reverse snowblower on it and a plow in the front. A few buddies have them. They say they love them. I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet.
Sure. And I mean, snow removal can snow obviously at all hours of the day. You got, people that, companies need to have their snow, removed by opening time in the morning. I mean, is that going to be a 24-hour situation?
Like I tell everybody, it's 5 months of constant, like, hey, I am sitting around at my house or really close watching the weather on call for 5 months. Because as soon as it snows, you got to go. And people don't accept, hey, they don't accept anything because everybody needs it done yesterday. And, I pray to the snow gods to have it done at 5 o'clock at night so I can work all night. By the time people go to work the next morning or have to go to work or whatever, everything is done. But it doesn't listen to me, so it's usually at the worst time, and then people are just losing their minds. And the worst snow is, for me personally, anything over 8 inches. Actually, anything over 6 inches or heavy snow sucks too. I think all snow sucks. So whoever's watching this that loves snow, good for you. I don't. I'm out.
Gotcha. Great. And then regarding the kind of the plant side of the business, what percentage of the business is kind of maintenance type work, lawn mowing, tree trimming, this kind of thing, versus project work, putting in big projects and or hardscaping?
So the big hardscaping is down over the last few years. When people had their COVID money, we were putting in patios, 2-3 a week. Now it's maybe one big project a year, which, everybody's like clamping down on money. So I'm going to have to say for mowing and fertilizing is about, without snow, it's probably about 70% for summertime operations. And then landscaping is a lot less because people aren't, I give out the bids for, hey, you want this backyard oasis, and I give a bid for, $1 million, and people are like, well, the guy can do it for $20. And then they call me back later and they're like, well, the guy for $20 didn't do it right. So now it's $2 million for that. So I'm, hey, well, the guy last year did it for this. Can you do it for that? And I'm like, well, call the guy last year for anything. So.
Gotcha. I'm curious about sales. We've talked to some companies, have made some pretty interesting statements, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on this. Regarding project work, have you found that it is easier to sell the $100,000 project than it is to sell like a $15,000 and $20,000 projects?
No, I find it's easier the $10,000 one is way easier to sell than a $100,000 one, because $100,000 plus project, you're there for a month or two, and progress is really slow, and they're like, hey, you were here for, your crew is here all day and I didn't see anything done. People want stuff done yesterday, and I can explain, hey, we're going to be here for a month or two. We did a really nice backyard oasis for a guy, and we were there for almost the whole summer. Looks amazing, absolutely amazing. But, after a while, people are like, I don't really want you here anymore. When I get home, I want to go hang out at my pool, or I want to not see you guys working till super late. So I personally think the $10,000 one, a lot of people are like, oh, hey, I can just go to the bank to get that. The $100,000 one's like, oh, now we got to finance and so that's just me.
Gotcha. How many folks do you have on the team?
So full-time, 4 people. My wife and I own the company, so that's 6. And then summer help, anywhere from 4 to 10, depending on the year. We always got a few college or high school kids, and they turn into college kids, and we got their friends and their friends, and then it just kind of snowballs. So I've been very blessed with getting that help, because a few years ago around COVID, one of the neighbors comes to me and was like, hey, my 16-year-old needs a job. And I'm thinking, I've hired grown men before and they don't work out well. And I'm like, oh, hire him. 16-year-old kid, I hire him, and we're doing drain tile. Drain tile is so easy. I'm like, hey, do this, I'll be right back. By the time I got back, it was finished, and I looked at him and I was like, you got friends? And he's like, yes. And that just snowballed. He worked for a season or two, his friends worked for a few seasons, and sometimes when it snows, they'll all hit me up and be like, hey, I'm home from college, or hey, I need a few extra dollars, can I go out and shovel snow for a while? And it's great. So then I have that extra muscle that, the older I get, the less I want to do for physical side. So this is great, because then I can leave them at projects and they get stuff done. Or on the mowing side, I'm like, hey, you're mowing today. Hey, you're going to be on the landscape crew today. And they're all just like, okay, something new and different, which is great. I mean, not every kid works out. Everybody knows not everybody works out, but they know that quick, and then they're gone within a month. But the ones that do want to work hard, then they have their friends, and then their friends, and it'd be great if one of them wants to stick around for a long term, but they all go get their big boy jobs. I'm like, hey, go get your big boy job, and if you need, I'm here. Not saying that what we do is not a big boy job, but they have aspirations of being, mathematicians, and like, I don't know, something much cooler than just hanging out outside, getting your tan on and digging the hole, which I think is great. I could never work inside. Working inside is for somebody else, not this guy.
I love it. I see here that you've got 36 5-star reviews on Google. I imagine you've got a bunch of great reviews in other places as well. How have you cultivated such a great reputation in the marketplace?
I think the fact that we've been around forever. My wife and I are like the 3rd or 4th owner. My dad bought it in the 80s, and then I got out of the Marines, and civilian life was really hard. So any veteran will know what I'm talking about. And I was going to school, getting good grades, and I call him up. I'm like, hey, do you have a job for me? Because I couldn't handle the little kids. You know, I'm 21, 2, 3, just got back from combat, and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. So I started working, and then my wife and I are like, hey, let's buy the company, and we grew it from, what was it, a $200,000 company in 2009 to right around $1 million. And I am perfectly happy with right around $1 million, anywhere from, 900,000 to like 1.1 or 1.2. I am totally happy with that. Yes, would I like to be bigger? In my mind, yes. But then when people don't show up, like everybody knows, you play the game, who's going to show up today? And like here, it's 100 degrees this week. So a few guys didn't show up. So I had to go do, one thing. And then as soon as that was done, then I had to go, whatever, like any owner does. But, I was hoping everybody shows up, we get done at a decent time, and then we can push places till tomorrow. But like a buddy said, would you want to be one of your employees? And I'm like, no, I will take all this stress. I would never want to be one of my employees. Go home and be like, now what? I come home and I work a little bit. I run things by my wife, and she's like, yay, nay, or like she's got a question about billing, and then we do that. And then, I, yeah, like everybody else, we probably work way too much. I always joke I make $1 an hour, and my neighbors laugh at it, but at the end of the day, I'd rather be me than my employees.
That's fantastic. Fantastic, Dan. We had a little scheduling conflicts come up. We'd already kind of met once, and
Yep.
you were really, really awesome to show back up over here and tell the story. Really appreciate you coming on the show.
Of course.
If folks are looking for a great company to work with, sounds like St. Paul, Minnesota, what are some great ways to get in touch with the Village Lawn Service?
I mean, go to our website, villagelawnservice.com, or hit us up on Instagram or TikTok. Yes, I have not been posting that much. I mean, I would love to be one of those influencers, just, hey, just a little bit of people to follow. But at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, I took all these amazing photos and now I got to edit them and stuff. And I'm like, people are going to find us. I mean, I've had people just show up at our office and they're like, why are you not here? I'm like, because everybody's working. If there's someone at the office, again, we're not, one of those giant companies to be like, hey, I've got 4 staff, 4 people in the office. I'm like, hey, my wife's in the office at our house and I'm in the office occasionally, but or just give us a call. Can I plug my number?
Of course.
651-455-0971.
Love it. Great. They've got a beautiful website over at villagelawnservice.com. A lot of great photos of their work. And then also get in touch. Just give Dan a call at 651-455-0971. Fantastic, Dan.
Really quick, I love helping out other companies. Like a few guys have reached out and like, hey, what about this? And I'm like, hey, if, like a buddy said, there's plenty of work for everybody. A few of my really good friends, we're all in the same areas. Yes, I'm not going to try to take their clients. They're not going to try to take mine. But if they're like, hey, what about this? Or someone new in the industry, it's like, hey, how do you price things? How do you this? And if we all help each other out, I mean, yeah, there's those guys out there that you're like, hey, I hope your business fails because you're not a nice person. But everybody else is like, hey, I'm working really hard and I'm trying to get, take care of my family and my employees. And I want everybody else to be able to take care of their families and employees if you have them. If you don't, if you're one man or one person operation, hey, that is awesome. Like another buddy said, keep it small, keep it all. And I'm like, oh, some days it'd be so nice where it's just me out there, because then I could be employee of the year, employee of the month, and then I could take myself on a vacation.
I love it. Well, that's such a great approach, Dan. I may take you up on that myself. We're always trying to learn more about the business, and some folks have offered for us to be able to give them a call and say, hey, look, trying to learn some different parts here. But it sounds like if you're in the landscaping business and looking for a few tips, that Dan is open to chatting with you as well.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that offer, Dan. And
Because
so,
because sometimes, if you're having a bad day, everybody's having a bad day. A buddy called me up and he's like, he's having a bad day, and I was having a bad day too. One of our guys just wrecked a yard and it was like $5,000 or something, right? Not happy. It is what it is, right? And he's like, yeah, so then my guy did this, and we're like, okay, we're in the same boat. So just remember, if you're having a bad day, there's other people out there having the bad day too. If you have a buddy, just give him a call and be like, hey, for example, I call up my buddy Rob. I'm like, hey, Rob, tell me something good. Then he tells me something good, and then we go on to like all the bad stuff that's going on. We're all human. We're all not robots. I mean, I work like a robot sometimes, but we're all human, and we all want to, like, hey, there's somebody else out there to kind of help out. So
fantastic. Great offer. Awesome, Dan. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your experience. Yeah, it's been great, and wishing you the best here in 2026 and beyond.